Okay, everybody, this is Sue Moulton, director from Boscawen, New Hampshire, and today is the 15th of September, 2015, and we are going to be talking about fundraising. So the first thing I want you to know about fundraisers is that they're everywhere. We're going into our October Help with Cancer Month. October and May is when Pampered Chef offers exclusive pink products. So this is the month that people are actually raising money for the Walk for Life. They do it now, and they also do it in the spring. There are groups that need to pay a participant fee in order to walk. I think it's like $75. And we've done it as a team before. If you're interested, we can sign up as a team, and we can all walk in the Concord Walk for Life Help with Cancer walk here as well. But there are other organizations that you're going to get fundraising from. So some of the ones that I have done, there is the DC 8th grade trip. So there's lots of middle schools that need to raise money. So you work with the 7th graders so that they start raising money now for their 8th grade trip, because they usually go at the end of September, beginning of October. So it's not enough time to raise the money. So you want to work with the 7th graders. I've worked with the band and chorus. They often go to Disney every other year, and our band and chorus goes to New York on the off years, so they're always fundraising for trips. So every 2 years they're going somewhere. I've done Habitat for Humanity. I've done churches. I've done cancer patients. I've done a junior class trip, gymnastic studios, dance studios, volleyball teams, soccer teams. I've done the local there was a local football league that was running through a community center, and one of the coordinators was at one of my shows, and she coordinated a town-wide fundraiser for the football. So there's lots of organizations that need to raise money. I'm doing one on Thursday at lunchtime for a women's group down in Hooksett. So where do you find fundraisers? There's a lot of different ways that you can get fundraisers. The first thing I did is the month that I wanted to do $20,000 in sales, I literally went online and looked up the PTA's names and emails of all of the local surrounding middle schools, elementary schools, and high schools in my area, and I sent emails out to all of them. Now, I didn't hear back from most of them, but I didn't give up. I kept emailing, I kept contacting, I called the schools to find out who I needed to talk to and get in with them. One of the easiest ways to get fundraisers would be to talk about it at your shows. So when you're going over the host benefits during your show, make sure that you say, I do cooking shows, catalog shows, virtual Facebook parties, bridal showers, and fundraisers. So if you know of an organization that is near and dear to your heart, or somebody who could really use some fundraising, I would love a lead. So you need to ask for that, because if you don't mention it, they're not going to think of it. But then they might go, oh, my daughter's in the Girl Scouts, and you know, their troop's raising money for blah, blah, blah. Now, the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts, you can't do fundraising necessarily for the Boy Scouts, but you can do Friends of Troop 157. So a lot of times the parents of a Boy Scout or Girl Scout troop actually have a checking account and an organization set up that it's Friends of Troop number blah, blah, blah. So they can raise money for those kids. So there's lots of ways about that. Pampered Chef does not cut a check to a person, they cut a check to an organization. So if you are raising money for somebody who specifically has cancer, often a church or a bank will set up an account where you can have the check written out to, you know, the trust of that. So there's a couple different things I want you to tell you about fundraising. So with Pampered Chef, anything that you sell that's over $600 or over, they donate 15%. Anything under $600, it's 10%. Now, I offer a percentage of my commission. When I was a new consultant, I would offer 3, 5, or 7% of my commission based on how much the fundraiser sold. So if they were under $1,000, I would give them 3%. If they were like $1,000 to $2,000, I would give them 5%. And if they were over $2,000, I would give them 7%. You can decide whatever, if anything, you want to give. Now that I'm a director, I earn overrides. And once you hit 15,000 career sales, you earn an extra 2% on everything that you sell. So once you've done a few months worth of sales, your career sales are $15,000, you're going to get paid 17% on fundraisers. Right now, you only get paid 15% if you're just a consultant. Fundraisers pay less than your regular shows pay. So keep that in mind when you're deciding if you're going to give a percentage of your commission as well. You don't have to. I like to do that to be competitive. They do allow the chairperson to purchase the 60% off monthly host special. So for September, if you were doing a fundraiser for September, they could get one piece of stoneware at 60% off. So the benefit to the chairperson who's coordinating it is that they're like the hostess in that aspect. But that is the only benefit they get. They don't get the 10% off for a year. They don't get the future party pick. Now, if you book a show from a fundraiser, Pampered Chef does pay $3 per booking in addition to the organization. When you are calling a school, and the benefit that we are pitching to them is that we sell a dollar for dollar valued product. We don't inflate the cost of the product to pay for the event. Unlike some candle companies or other companies like that, you can go to the mall and buy the same candle for $5 less than you have to pay for it in the fundraiser flyer. That's not true with Pampered Chef. They're shopping from the exact same catalog that we shop from when we have a show. I would say 75 to 80% of our catalog is under $30, so there's something for everyone. And most importantly, they're getting you. They're getting the customer service of a consultant who is going to be there for returns or exchanges. Plus, I offer to bag, tag, and sort all the products. Now, my largest fundraiser to date was a little over $12,000. And $12,000, yes, I did. That was my third year. I worked up to it. It was like $5,000 the first year, $7,000 the second year, and $12,000 the third year. So that was the DC 8th grade trip. And so I sorted all those boxes. I can't remember. I think it was like 35 boxes. I paid my daughter to help me sort, tag, all of that. But then I made myself available 2 days because I am home during the day, and I showed up at school pickup. And they sent, one classroom down at a time. And so Johnny Smith would come and I'd say, all right, Johnny, here's your 4 bags. There you go. And if there was a box, if it was too much, we would call the parents and say, you need to be a car pickup. So PTOs are really happy when you say, I will come and bag and tag and sort. You don't have to be there for the delivery of it. They usually say, how can I help? And I say, give me one person to be the manual person. I'll pick and pack. You write the names on the bags for me. And then we just go through the whole thing. Normally, it's a big deal to do a fundraiser. So if you can come in and run the entire fundraiser without anybody else having to do any work, you have a better chance of getting your foot in the door. Now, when you go to a school to talk to the kids, you need to be a little animated. You got to have some energy going. And some of the things that I've learned over the last couple of years have been really helpful. When you're dealing with middle schooler or high school students, they all have cell phones. Most of them have Facebook or some type of social media. So if that's the case and you have a smartphone, I go in behind where I'm standing. I take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and I type my name and my cell phone number on a big piece of paper and I slap it up behind me. I get in front of the kids and I ask the band and the chorus, can I have 5 or 10 minutes in front of the band, 5 or 10 minutes in front of the chorus, just once to explain how the fundraiser works. I go in and I say, all of you that have a cell phone, take it out right now and text me to this number, your name and your parent's name. So they would say Johnny Smith, Susie Smith, and they would text it to me. And then I would make them say, MVHS, Merrimack Valley High School, so that I would know which fundraiser I'm working on, especially when I have a couple ones going at the same time. So the reason I want them to do that is I provide them with a red stamp invitation that they can post on their Facebook wall. And then they go ahead and they tag Grammy and Auntie and cousins and say, hey, check out this link here for ordering on my band fundraiser. We're raising money to get to Disney. I try to make it as easy as possible for these kids the second they're doing it, because once you're out of their mind, they're not going to think of you again. So about a week later, I text all those kids again, and I send them one that has a picture of a guy, looking at his watch saying, time's running out, get your orders in now. And I say, post this to your wall. So they post that. So I'm feeding it. All they have to do is download the picture to their phone and upload it to Facebook. Really easy. Now, I offer full-size catalogs at all of my fundraisers. Some people do the mini catalogs. Whatever you want to do is fine. Full-size catalogs are a little bit more money, but I've had people buy full sets of cookware at fundraisers because they need cookware anyway, so why not support little Johnny? So if they didn't have the full-size catalog, I would not be selling cookware because that usually isn't in the mini catalogs, you know, some of the higher price. It's normally the new products that are coming out. So let me show you how I put together my, my catalogs. So this is just a regular Ziploc baggie. You can do the type that seal yourself. You can do the type that just slide across. I used to use Sam's Club brown craft envelopes, which are a little bit cheaper than Ziploc baggies, but those get lost under the mail and under the junk. If you have a clear Ziploc baggie, your catalogs are not getting lost in the midst of things, okay? You'll notice that I have stickers on the catalog. I found as a parent myself, I didn't read all those long letters as beautifully as they were written. I didn't read them. So if I wasn't reading them, a lot of people weren't reading all the details. So I post on here exactly what I want them to know. Now you can either put it on the envelope so that if they return the catalog, you can reuse the catalogs, or you can stamp it right on the catalog yourself so that if it gets out of the bag, all the contact information is on there. So what is on here for labels? So the first label says income example, and these are provided on our Facebook team page. If you go under files and you look up fundraising, that's where they'll be. So this one says income example. If each student collects 5 orders of $60 or more, that equals $300 times 140 students is $42,000 in sales, times a 25% profit, if I'm giving 10% of my income, which I was, equals $10,500 to the kids. So now, 140 students. Of the 140 students, 60 of them participated. Do not panic that, you know, I think I had 200 students the year that I did the 12,000, and less than 60 students actually returned orders. It's very common for lots of people not to participate. It's okay. So when you go and you pick up orders and there's only a small stack like this and then some that are online, it's okay, because some of those orders are $200 and $300 orders because everybody from their mother's work put all their orders on one order form. The next sticker I have says more ways to earn. And this is something that I personally offer as an incentive to get bookings from a fundraiser. It says, if you book a cooking show from this fundraiser, I will donate an additional 3 or 5% of that entire show's sales back to the organization of your choice. So the savings continue. And then the last one, which is this really big one, is all the ordering instructions. This one is old, so I'll have to get you the new one. Now that they've updated our website, it's completely different on how that works. So I'll get a new updated one. We now have specific URL links that you can copy and paste. I highly recommend that you use the free service called tiny.cc. That is where you can take this really long URL that's on the show page on our website, and you copy it and you paste it into this tiny CC thing, and then you can customize it. So you might say MVHS band 2015. And so that's all they have to type in is, you know, http tiny.cc/ and then the name of the organization. So it makes it really easy for that organization to know what their link is for ordering. So I'll get an updated sticker for that. I find it easier that if it's simple, because if they hand the catalog to somebody, it says right on it, forward this link to 20 of your family and friends via text, email, Facebook, or simply pass the catalog around. It's that simple. Anyone, anywhere in the United States can place an order securely on my website. Items can drop ship to the organization or to your doorstep. Pay by check, cash, credit, or debit. I would take cash out. People still pay by cash, but you have less of a problem of I paid you, it was in the envelope, and then it wasn't there, that kind of thing. So checks, debits, or credits. Make checks payable to Sue Moulton or order securely online, and then my website, but I would put the new link in there. Put your contact information on there as well, so phone number if there's any questions. That way if the book ends up in somebody else's hands and ends up at a hair salon, the ordering instructions are right on there. The last label that I would put on there that isn't on this one is return orders and catalog to, you know, homeroom teacher on X date. And then an idea that I heard from another consultant, which I thought was brilliant, on a way to get your catalogs back. You entice the teachers that the highest percentage of returned catalogs, the teacher is going to get a prize. So, you know, sometimes you get something free when you spend $70 or more. So you might have an extra ice cream scoop or a mix and chop or a spatula or something like that. So what you would do is, if the teachers are giving out 30 catalogs in this classroom and 25 in that classroom, if the teacher that had 25 collected 19 of those catalogs back, and that was a higher percentage than the teacher who had 30 catalogs, then the teacher who collected the most catalogs back will get a prize. So it's a little competition on the teachers to actually say to the kids, don't forget to bring your catalogs back tomorrow. So you're more likely to get them back, because you could do a 200 student fundraiser and end up with 5 catalogs back. So there is an investment in that. When working with organizations, I highly recommend that you guys have the organization photocopy the order form for you. A full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper does not quite fit inside the Ziploc baggie for it to seal very well. So, I mean, you can bend it over a little bit, but I know that Pampered Chef now has these 2-part carbon forms that are tiny, which are kind of nice. So you might have them printed at a printer. But to save money, I would the schools have copiers there. I usually say, I need 5 copies per student. Please copy me 2,000 copies, or let me come in and I'll stand at the copier and do it for you. You can take your copies to a printing company. I used to work at one in Concord, and they can chop off just a little bit of the order form. So if you shrink the size of the order form before you bring it to them to copy, you'll have room to just chop off a little bit, then they'll fit in the bag fine. And then some night when you're watching TV, you just fan them out and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put it crosshatch this way, this way, this way, this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you pay one of your kids to stuff the envelopes. So it's really easy. Make sure that nothing leaves your house without your contact information on it. So the day that you go in to see the students, you're going to have them text you. Then you're going to talk to them about, this is so easy. We can run it 2 different ways. If they're raising money to do a specific, like band and chorus is going to Disney, I create an Excel spreadsheet, and I have a standard response to every online order I get. Thank you for your order on the Merrimack Valley fundraiser. Which student would you like to receive credit for your order? Plain and simple. And if you or somebody you know would like to host a show, here's the current special. And I just copy and paste that every single time to every order that comes in. And I just keep an Excel spreadsheet. As soon as the order comes in, it says Johnny Smith, Mama Smith, and what they ordered before shipping is added, before shipping and tax is added. And then I have a column that says times, 0.25% or, 10% or whatever it is that you're donating. And then a total amount that student has earned, so that at the end, when I have all the orders in, I can tell the band person, okay, Johnny Smith has raised $152 towards his trip. Now, I had one mom that was smart. I offer this to all the parents, and when I go in to talk to the students, I tell them, if you really want to raise all this money, here's the fastest way you can do it. You want to do a live cooking show in your house. The reason being is when people are seeing the products and they're touching and feeling them, they're more likely to actually purchase the products. So one mom hosted a live cooking show. She did over $1,000. So she got $250 just for hosting that show. Then she had done the catalog show. So we had plenty of time between the catalog show in February and then the cooking show in summertime that she raised the whole $400 and something that the child needed to go to DC. She had asked me, what happens if we go over that? I said, well, he'll have spending money because I'll be cutting you a check for the remainder. So she was pretty excited about that. So there is a real way that these parents who cannot afford to go on these trips can raise the money. And if they do a show and they don't raise enough, their grandmother, their aunt can also raise a show and put it towards that student. So it's an opportunity to really help out the local kids to raise money for whatever organization it is, and it's fun. So I tell the kids, I get real excited. I'm like, how many of you guys want to earn an iTunes gift card or a gift card to McDonald's? And I raise my hand and they raise their hand. And I'm like, all right, here's what you have to do. When you sell $400 in orders before shipping and tax, you're going to get a gift card from me. And so then later in the conversation, I'll go, all right, guys, how much do you need to sell to get a gift card? $400, right. How many gift cards can you earn? Unlimited, that's right. So I just get them all excited that it's not just the top winner that gets a prize, but anybody can get a prize if they sell a certain amount. And I used to set it to $300. I've set it up to $400 now. And you can set it up on your website multiple ways. You can set each individual student up as a show, but I don't think that that's the best way to do it, simply because what if a student doesn't hit $200 mark? And the credit cards are already in. You can't transfer those credit cards. They have to go as an individual order. That doesn't work. So if you set it up as a show and you contact each of the people who place online orders, you can simply track the orders. Now, often you have to close the shows more than once. When you're dealing with students, they never meet the deadline. So sometimes you say the deadline is the 30th of the month. And so on the 30th, you close everything that has come in so far. And then on the 5th of the month, you close everything else that petered through from, oh my gosh, my daughter forgot. That happened to me, and I ended up having to submit a third show because I got a call literally 3.5 weeks after the show had been closed and all the products had been distributed, by a mother who found an order, a Ziploc baggie full of money still in her daughter's backpack that she never passed in. Thank goodness it was over $200, so it constituted a show of itself, and everything worked out fine. But oh my gosh. So yeah, so it's that we're dealing with kids, we're dealing with students, it's fine. So that's how I do my fundraisers. They're pretty simple. Make sure that you're talking about them at your shows. You won't find people. The way I got that band and chorus, the DC 8th grade trip, was simply because the PTO president happened to be in one of my shows. So when I came to full service checkout and I said, so Sarah, are you interested in hosting a show like Jen did? And she had said, no, I don't think so. And I said, well, what about doing a catalog show or a fundraiser? She said, you know what? I'm the PTO president. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now it took me a year to get into that school because they already have all their fundraisers set up right now for September and February. They've got them all lined up. So I had to be on pretty much a waiting list for the following year. But then I got in and I was there for 3 years until they got a new principal. So that's one of those things, like, don't give up. Be sure that you're asking everyone. If you get a lead, I had the band director or chorus director at one of my shows this summer, and I just followed up with her. I'm waiting to hear back from her, a different school district. So be sure that you're mentioning it at schools. You don't know who's in your audience, what they do, or maybe it's their brother that's the band director at the local school. So if you have contacts like that, you want to ask for those. So right now I'm going to stop the recording and then you guys can ask questions, okay?